all. Thank you for joining us on this 4th of July broadcast. We got a great show lined up for you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Yeah, I do want to wish everybody a very, very happy 4th of July. Make it a safe weekend. I hope you got great events planned with your family. For me, I consider myself an extremely patriotic person. I love my country. I love what the 4th of July stands for, and hope you guys, feel the same way and just be proud that we live in a country where you can express yourself with freedom, without persecution, and we have the opportunity to go out and create a great income and a great life for our family. I mean, there's really no places like the United States of America where anybody, regardless of where you come from, regardless of what your social or economic backgrounds are, is that everybody has the equal opportunity for the pursuit of happiness and the pursuit of being able to go out and create a great life for yourself. At the end of the day, man, it just takes hard work. That's what it takes. It takes fortitude. It takes the willingness to never give up and just go out and do that. And before we kick off the call, I just got one little quote I'm going to read to you guys, and we'll get right into our call. I promise. Thomas Paine. You probably haven't heard that name since probably I don't know, elementary school or high school, maybe, if you studied. I don't know if they even teach American history anymore, but Thomas Paine was the author of a book that preceded the Declaration of Independence called Common Sense. And if you read the book, it used to be mandatory reading. I doubt that everybody reads the book Common Sense anymore, but like I said, it preceded the Declaration of Independence. And if you read the Declaration of Independence and you read Common Sense, you will see a lot of the things that Thomas Paine talks about are actually duplicated, and is what Thomas Jefferson kind of based the Declaration of Independence on, are the writings of Thomas Paine. But this quote is pretty cool. It says, "What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. What is darkness only gives everything its value." And basically what they're saying is that, man, if something comes easy, if you're given something, if you're handed something, if you didn't work for it, if you didn't earn it, you're not going to value it. It's only what you bust your butt for. It's only what is hard to achieve is what is going to create value in your life. And guys, this business is no different. This is why you see people that didn't earn their money but inherited money. Or have you heard stories of people that won the lottery? They got the money too easy. They got the money too cheap. The majority of the people who get money through entitlement, or they inherited where they didn't earn it, or even lottery earners, what you will find out is that the common theme is that within 5 to 10 years, most of those people are in worse shape than when they got the money in the first place. And you think to yourself, well, how is that possible? How could someone win the lottery and win, 10 million or $100 million, and then within 10 years be not only be broke, but be in debt? Guys, it's happened because they didn't earn the money. And that's what we teach here at Senior Solutions, man. It ain't easy. It ain't easy to do it. It's not easy to go out and earn $150,000, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 a year, but it's obtainable. You can get it done, but only through perseverance and hard work. So that's our little quote of the day. If you want more information, just Google Thomas Paine, find out who he was. Very interesting gentleman. And by the way, he never held an office in the United States, as far as I know. So just a couple of real quick announcements, guys. I know we talked about this a week or two ago, but Transamerica is back in the game with Final Expense. They've retuned their e-application process to make it a lot easier. They are giving agents $40 bonuses, Every application, every final expense application, and this started June 1st, so it's been going on a while, all the way through August 31st, you're going to get an extra $40 that's going to be paid out on your business. This is our cases from ages 18 through 75. So if you're working with a client and Transamerica seems to be a good fit, the pricing is good, give them a try. I think you'll be impressed with their new process. Another company that's giving away money, Mutual of Omaha, our great friends at Mutual of Omaha. They rolled out a product earlier this year. It's their Index Universal Life Express. I've personally have written quite a few of these. We've had other agents that have written these. It's a great little product. Good cash accumulation, good pricing. They are paying out an additional $25 for this product, mainly to promote their e-application. If you recall, when this product first rolled out, it wasn't available on e-app. So now it is available on e-application. So certainly check that out. If you have any younger clients, or even if maybe you have a client that's in their 50s or 60s who's in pretty good health, potentially, if you got a client that's in good health, this could be an alternative for a final expense product, only because they go down to age, or they go face amounts as low as 25,000. So I like this product. I would recommend checking it out. And let's just see here. Applications written between July 1 through August 31st must be placed in business by September, and cash award will be paid out by October the 1st. So this is obviously in addition to your regular commission. Okay, we got one more big announcement, okay, before we move on. And that is, we got a big announcement from Liberty Bankers Life. Liberty Bankers is one of our top carriers. We've had a lot of agents that have been using Liberty Bankers over the past few months because of COVID. If you're not aware of Liberty Bankers, they've got an extremely competitive final expense product. It's a 3-tier product. You've got preferred, standard, and modified. Their pricing is good. They're one of the few companies out there that will accept someone with COPD as a standard rate, meaning they get same-day coverage. Their height and weight chart is extremely liberal. They're the most liberal. In fact, you can be 5'8", a little bit over 300 pounds, and still get preferred. So if you compare that to some of the other carriers, with the height and weight, it's extremely, extremely liberal. One of the biggest complaints that we got about Liberty Bankers is the phone interview. It was my biggest complaint as well. It's like, it's too long. They ask too many health questions. They go over every medication, even when it's irrelevant to the process of the application. They've got a new system. Okay, they've got a new phone number to call in. What Mark Aremia is saying is that they're shortening the call. It says right here, drastically reduce hold time, so you're going to get connected sooner. Short phone interview process. They reduced the redundancy, eliminated the medication questionnaire, underwriting questions and decision earlier. What they are telling us is that you're going to be on the phone for 10 minutes or less, hopefully. Sometimes maybe it'll take a little bit longer, but this will drastically improve the situation. You can now do replacement forms over the phone. Before it was that if you had a replacement, you had to get a wet signature on the replacement, send that in. Now they're able to do that. So if you haven't used Liberty Bankers in a while, guys, check them out. Give them a try. The product is phenomenal. I promise you, it's one of my favorite products. The only thing I never was a big fan of was the phone interview. So it seems like they're working very hard to improve this. The other thing that's going to be rolling out, it's not available yet, but agents would always ask, why doesn't Liberty Bankers have an e-application? They're rolling out an e-application, okay? So it's going to be out in about a week or two. So once we get the word that the e-application is available, we will let you know. We will provide you some training with it. But for you agents out there that are doing telesales and you're doing live transfers, you're doing Facebook leads, web leads, if you're selling over the phone, check out the Liberty Bankers program again. Give them another shot. I think you will be impressed with what you see. Now, if you're watching this video, I know a lot of people tune in. They check us out on YouTube. Hey, if you're enjoying the content, if you get value from the content that you're getting on this show, do me a favor, man. Give us a thumbs up. It certainly would help us. And also, certainly subscribe to our channel. The more subscribers we have, the more people we can reach out to, the more agents we can help. And at the end of the day, that's really our goal. Our goal at Senior Solutions is we want to provide value to those final expense agents that are out there that are working super, super hard to not only earn an income for their family, but also to be able to help seniors that are in need of high quality financial products. And at the end of the day, that's what we do. Our goal is to put our clients, our seniors, in a better place than when we found them, and be able to offer them high quality financial products to give our clients the peace of mind so they know is that when they do pass away, they're not leaving their family with a financial burden. And then lastly, if you're a new agent, if you haven't ordered your new agent starter kit, get with your manager, get with me. Let's make sure that we get you all the tools. So when you're out there doing your in-home presentation, you have the proper pre-sale folders, you have the flip chart, your ID badge, business cards, the new Senior Solutions final expense brochures. Don't sell yourself short. Separate yourself from the competition. I'm just telling you, there's so much value that we bring to the table, and that's really where Senior Solutions agents separate themselves from other agencies and other people trying to do what we do, is that nobody brings more value to the client than Senior Solutions. And that's what we want to pride ourselves on, is being able to add that value. And guys, with that, I'm going to bring on, yes.
Can I say something before we move forward? You know, because we are recording this and it is going to be available on YouTube, I just thought I'd say, you know, if you're an agent and you're looking for a home, give Joe Johnson a call, because, you know, we're not limited to final expense. We're a full spectrum, full service agency. We offer, you know, everything, not just whole life. We offer universal life. We have annuity products. We have a ton of different carriers. You can even sell some of the, you know, health products if you wanted to. But the thing is that we have a very good lead platform. We have great training and support, and we're not captive. So we'll work with you. Maybe you are, you know, a Medicare supplement, you know, agent, and you're looking to expand. We can work with you. Maybe you're a health agent. We can work with you. Maybe you're PNC. We can work with you. Maybe, you know, as I said earlier, just looking for a home. We offer the full gamut of products. Just check us out. Give Joe a call. But Joe, I'll turn it back over.
Very good point. Very good point. Hey, Michael, are you you're still on the call, right?
I am here, my friend.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, man. I know you've been working on the content for this call, and your topic is you're going to be talking about focus and what focus means to you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the call over to you and let you knock out your segment. Okay.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, I'm so glad that Joe brought this subject up, because if there's one word that can change your life forever, one word that can change your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, but most importantly, dramatically change your relationship with running your own business, it is the word focus. And the word focus, ladies and gentlemen, has both a short-term and a long-term definition. Obviously, Joe has the long-term definition up on the screen here, but I want to talk about the short-term definition first. And the way I found about focus in the final expense arena, Joe and Jimmy, is that I have had the pleasure of speaking to the top 3 producers in the country in a final expense. And Jimmy and Joe, you probably know them. Alan Towns, Tim Winders, and John Duggar. These are guys that all wrote $450,000 to $500,000 in final expense premium, which almost sounds like an impossibility. But when you sit down and you really dig into how they did that, one word and one word only comes up, and that was the word focus. These gentlemen were able to take all of their energies and focus it on their IPA. Now, what does IPA stand for? Their income producing activity. And then on the other side of the coin, they were able to mute out every single other distraction. So I want to give you, ladies and gentlemen, on this call right here, the information I'm getting ready to share with you. We've all been told if you want to become wealthy in America, first of all, find a proven system in a booming industry, which, as we know, final expense is a recession-proof business with 10,500 people turning 65. But the second piece of that equation is to find you a mentor. So I'm going to share with you the schedule, the focus of the people who have made probably the biggest income in this industry. And that is basically they were able to focus all their energies for 3.5 days a week on their IPA, their income producing activity. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've got some good news for you. You have heard final expenses a simple business. I'm getting ready to prove it to you. We have one income producing activity in this business, and that is sitting kneecap to kneecap and belly to belly with seniors. Everything else you do is not an income producing activity. That is it. So your success or your level of success is based on how many times can you do that in a week? How many times can you share your story in a week? And it all comes down to focusing on that IPA. So the secret of the top performers in the final expense industry is that Monday from 9 o'clock in the morning to faint, and what I mean by faint is when it got dark. You know, of course, in the wintertime, that could be 5:30. We know in the summertime, my brother-in-law lives in Indianapolis. It's about 9 o'clock when it's getting dark in the summertime. They focused on nothing but their income-producing activity, and ladies and gentlemen, they did nothing else. There was no cutting the grass on those days. There was no going to Jiffy Lube to get their oil changed. Lord help, there was no surfing Facebook. That may be tough, especially for some people in my family. But that's all they did, ladies and gentlemen. And they told their families, they told their wives, hey, I love you. But, you know, from 7 in the morning to probably 8 o'clock at night on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you're not going to see me. You're not going to probably receive a phone call for me because I'm wanting to create a better life for our family. And so they laser focused on that income producing activity. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, usually Thursday morning, these top performers did their paperwork and they looked at their numbers. And if they got to Thursday at noon, ladies and gentlemen, they then reversed their focus on their family and recharge time. And so Thursday at noon, the Sunday night, you think they thought about insurance? No, they didn't even use that word. It was all about family. It was all about recharging. It was all about whatever you do to sort of rejuvenate yourselves. And these are people, ladies and gentlemen, that made $300,000 to $400,000 a year. It's funny, as I told Joe one time, one thing all these top performers had in common is that they said their neighbors came and knocked on their door one day. And they said, Tim, what do you do for a living? We don't see you Monday. We don't see you Tuesday. We don't see you Wednesday. We don't see you Thursday morning. But Lord help, from Thursday noon up, all we do is watch you play golf. You drive nice cars. You live in a great house. We know you make $300,000 to $400,000 a year. What do you do? And Tim said, I focus. So the short-term definition of focus, ladies and gentlemen, is the ability that God has given every human being, and that is to narrow your thoughts on one thing and one thing only. You know, one of the biggest examples, I'm 50 years old now, so I'm a half a century old, but I remember being a kid and sort of a destructive little kid and taking that magnifying glass out and focusing the sunlight on the grass until the grass caught on fire. So in other words, for years upon years, that sun can beam down on the grass and nothing happened. But with that magnifying glass, I was able to narrow the sun's focus, and big time change happened. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to set your career on fire? Narrow your focus. You're going to have to make a time sacrifice, but Lord help, are you in corporate America? You're already making that time sacrifice. If you're in Houston or Atlanta or Chicago, you're already getting up at 6 a.m. in the morning. You're on the road at 7. It's taking an hour and a half to get to work. You're leaving at 5:30 or 6 and getting home at 7:30, and you're doing that 5 days a week for half the income you can make in this industry. If you'll just focus for 3.5 days, almost like a nurse or a fireman who works 3 days on and is 4 days off. And you need to bring your family into this. You need to tell them what's on the line here. Children, mom and dad, if you'll just give me Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to focus on nothing but the income producing activity, we can have the life of their dreams. And guess what? You'll have mommy or daddy, Thursday at noon through Sunday. We'll do all the fun stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, it will truly allow you to do something that most of you have been told you can't do. And that is burning the candle at both ends. In other words, you can play hard as long as you work hard first. And that is the short-term definition of focus. Now, as Joe has up on the screen, is the long-term definition of focus, which stands for fixed, on course, until successful. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to reveal something to you that I hope you already know, but success and final expense is sort of like success in life. Success and final expense in life both are based on a process. Final expense normally has a 3-part process that you got to stay focused on. You got to stay fixed on course until successful. Because your number one objective in final expense is securing as many long-term clients as possible. And you normally go through a 3-part journey to get there. Part number 1 is what we call the learning curve. You got to stay focused on keeping that relationship with Mike Mahalik and Jimmy Hernandez and Joe Johnson. That's the toughest time, the learning curve. You're learning something new. You're going to get your lip a little bloodied. You're going to get your knees a little skinned up. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is making it to months 10, 11, and 12 when you get your first balance of first-year commissions, and then your renewal in month 13, because you can actually take that income and start reinvesting it in your business. But part 3 is probably the toughest part of this business, ladies and gentlemen, and I call that actually the focus period between years 1 and years 3 to 4, because normally when you get to years 3 to 4, at that point you build a big enough, large enough book of business that you can truly start enjoying that time and financial freedom that all of us as Americans desire, and really the reason that we got into the insurance business. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I wrap up here, I want to ask you to make a commitment. The experts tell us we forget about 50% of what we learn in a day by the next day, and usually 75% by the end of the week, unless we focus. So, first and foremost, can you commit to focusing on your IPA? Can you take this industry known as final expense and simplify it down to its bare essence, which is basically sitting belly to belly and face-to-face with seniors, loving on them, talking to them about life and death and how you can help them prepare for both of those right there. Second of all, ladies and gentlemen, can you be a little easier on yourself? Start being so hard on yourself. This is a process. It's not easy. Like when a diamond is created, creating a diamond is a process of it's the layers of the earth coming together, a lot of friction, a lot of fire to create a diamond. You're wanting to create a legacy for your family. You're going to have to go through those 3 stages of the learning curve, the seeing is believing stage, and that last 1 to 2 to 3 year stage. But last but not least, I want to ask you to make a time commitment. As I told you, all the top performers became top performers because they made a time commitment of 3.5 days a week of doing nothing but focusing on final expense and that income producing activity of sitting with seniors. Are you willing to make that sacrifice for your family, for yourself? 3.5 days on, and then guess what? 3.5 days off that you don't have to think about insurance at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, me, Joe, and Jimmy want to share something with you today as I wrap up here. One word and one word only can change your entire life right now is focus. Because as human beings, we have the ability to change our lives because we can change our thoughts. Because what we focus on, we bring into our lives. Back to you, Joe and Jimmy.
Thanks, buddy. Very, very good. All right, let's very inspirational, man. I got a lot out of that.
That was awesome, Mike.
Thank you, sir. I'm trying to put it into play myself, sir.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, it's amazing what you can do when you focus and I've always been told a long time ago, whatever you focus on will expand. So, if you focus on negativity, negativity in your life is going to expand. If you focus on increasing your net worth is going to expand. If you focus on this business, if you focus on simply going out and seeing the people, and that's all you concentrate on, your business is going to expand. But with that, it was a great segment of the call. Thank you for that. And Jimmy, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you for the Senior Solutions tip of the week.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Well, I did want to do a quick, add on to what Michael was talking about with focus. And I thought that was amazing. I mean, that hit me right between the eyes, Michael. I don't think I've been as focused lately as I used to be. So, that message was definitely for me. But I will tell you, if you're new, and you're, let's say you're a rookie, you're learning, what happens when you're busy with income producing activities? You get something that I call accelerated learning. You learn right away a lot of stuff. You learn about your products, you learn about different tips, you learn all kinds of stuff, accelerated pace, because you're out there doing those income producing activities. So if you want to get good quick, that's the best way to do it. So with that, let me move forward. My tip of the week is how to increase your premium, or the title would be add-on sales. So I want to talk about add-ons. When you are with your clients, the key to add-ons is being observant. And you need to be observant both with visually and listening skills, okay? And you want to be able to ask key questions, but you want to ask it in a non-threatening manner, not like you're interrogating them or you're trying to gather information, but more of a conversational question. So for example, let's say they mention something about their son. Oh, tell me about your son. See, that's an open-ended, non-threatening question. They might say, oh, he's still living here, or he has his own family. Oh, he does this for a living. If they don't say, what does he do for a living? I'll ask, oh, what does he do for a living? So when you gather information in a non-threatening way, down the road, you can use that to come back and offer add-on products. And so the first two add-ons are really the only two add-on products I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it in two different ways. The first one are going to be add-on riders. The first one is going to be accidental death, and the second one is going to be the children's life. And so as a rider, you can increase your premium. So not all carriers offer the children's whole life rider, or I shouldn't say whole life, but the children's rider, and not all of them offer, or not all clients would be eligible for the accidental death benefit. So you just want to look for it. So let's talk about accidental death for a second. Let's say you closed the customer, you offered them, you pinned them down on a price point. Let's just assume that's $50 a month. And let's say they're doing a $15,000 death benefit. The way I offer it is, when I'm done with the questions, the health questions that is, and if they answered no to everything, and I know that they can go standard, or they can go preferred or level coverage depending on the carrier, then I'm going to say, Mr. Customer, based on you answering all these questions, with no's, or based on your health, you're also able or eligible for the accidental death benefit, which doubles in the event that your death was accidental, right? And that's only going to increase your premium by X amount of dollars. Normally it's $4 to $5 in most cases. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But as we say down in Texas, más o menos, $5 a month, right? So for $5 more a month, you can double your death benefit, and they usually will go for it. So you just took that premium up by, $5 a month. What does that mean to you in commissions? Well, on average, let's say it's going to be about 50 extra dollars, commissions. So just by offering it that way. I also, expand on it if they are in some sort of high risk job. And, how do I identify high risk? Well, the obvious stuff, if they're in law enforcement or security job, um, but maybe they, maybe they're a truck driver. That's to me high risk, or some sort of occupation where they spend a lot of time on the road. Maybe they're in construction. Maybe they have to climb poles or ladders, or, so just kind of find out more about them. Obviously, if they're retired, that portion's not going to apply to them. But what if they're accident prone? And I ask people, are you accident prone? And I'm asking that question early on. And then that way later we can talk about that when I'm offering it. So as a rider, that's going to increase your premium by, $5 a month, let's say. The second one is children's riders. I can tell you, I've seen the most success for this when it's grandchildren. I've seen the most success when the grandparents are taking care of the grandkids, not necessarily, permanently, but maybe they're watching them a part of the day or something like that. They grow a fondness to that grandchild. They love that grandchild to death because they spend so much time with them, right? And because they do adore their grandchildren so much, when you bring it up, it's almost like an automatic. Yeah, I want that. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's that easy. So if you're selling a product that offers the children's rider, always offer it. I mean, in some cases, you're looking like, 75 cents to $1, maybe $1.10 extra per month to add them on as a rider per thousand. So, again, that could be an extra $5 a month. And in some cases, you can add on, a ton of grandchildren. I remember one day, and I think it was with Liberty Bankers Life. I had a lady, she wanted to insure all 9 grandchildren, and they were all under the age of 18, so they're eligible for the rider. So I did, 9. And that was a beautiful thing. Here's the beauty of it. When you add that rider on, not only are you increasing the premium by a few dollars, but you also just increase the value of that policy tremendously. Because let's say for $55, now they're not just insuring themselves, they're insuring them and their grandchildren. And I don't know what it is by adding the grandkid on, but they don't want to let that policy go now, because now it's covering 2 lives. It's just more value. So before I move forward, I don't know if you want to add to that, Joe or Mike.
No, you're doing it perfect, dude. I just will say this, man. If you're not offering either the child rider, specifically grandchild rider, or doing like a separate whole life policy, you're really missing out, because the grandparents really go for it. And even sometimes, even if you get those clients that you don't close them on their sale, there's been a lot of situations where I didn't get the sale on that person, but I ended up writing like 5 or 6 grandchildren, and still, walk out of the house with a $60 to $70 a month premium just on the grandchildren. So, if they're not buying, don't walk out with your tail between your legs. Make sure that you hang in there and you add value. And this is just one extra way that senior solutions agents can add value to their clients by protecting more than just one life.
Thank you. So the next segment I want to do on the add-on sales is the actual separate policy, the actual accidental death policy or a children's whole life policy. And so on the accidental death, the great thing about that is that you can go with high dollar amounts, and you can more than double the level coverage. Let's say they have a $10,000 or $15,000 death benefit. you can get them 100,000 or even 500,000 accidental. And I got to tell you, for the folks that what I call are greedy, like, oh, what am I going to do with 10,000? Oh, that's not enough, but they can't afford to say 100,000, right? So for those folks that are just thinking about that, big face amount, I do a combination. So I'll quote them what they need for final expense, and then I'll do 100,000 on an accidental death, which normally is maybe an extra 15 bucks a month. And I do a combo quote. I quote it together. So I'll tell them for $65 a month, you got enough coverage here if you die by natural causes to cover your funeral expenses. But if you were to die by accidental death, well, then your total death benefit is going to be 110,000 because you got the extra 100,000 policy here.
Hey,
So,
Jim,
yes,
just
sir.
real quick, I just went on the Mutual of Omaha app, just as an example, guys, what Jimmy's talking about. I just ran a quote for a 70-year-old female. 70. A 70-year-old female can get $100,000 of accidental for only $16.98, and it's guaranteed issue. That's tremendous value.
That was my next thing, is that it's guaranteed issue. So there's no health questions. There's no lifestyle questions. There is no, what's the word I'm looking for? Criminal history questions, right? So the cool thing about it is, let's say you have a client that maybe is not eligible for level coverage. The only thing that they can do is a guaranteed issue, death benefit, and they're not happy about that 2-year period. Sometimes I don't ever sell them the guaranteed issue, regular whole life. Sometimes I sell them a rather large, accidental death benefit. It's also guaranteed issue. It plays on the greed factor, and sometimes people, when they feel rejected, they don't want to do business with you. So when you tell them you're not eligible for something, they feel rejected. So I try to present it in a positive way, depending on the way that conversation is going with them. But I will offer an accidental death. A lot of times I'll ask people, they'll tell me stuff like, oh, well, I'm over all of that. I've gotten through that. I'm better now. I'm healthier now. Say, great. So would you say if you were to die in the next 10, 15 years, it'd probably due to accidental death? Yeah, well, let's do this. And I'll quote them a really high amount. When I say high amount, I mean death benefit amount. And, I do explain it's accidental death, and they'll go for it. So, I mean, sometimes you don't get the final expense whole life app, but you'll get an app, right? So that's one way. When I was talking about earlier, finding about what their kids do. So if their children are in a high risk, occupation, then I can tell them about the accidental death for their kids. And in many cases, they live with them. In many cases, it's just a matter of coming back and getting a signature on them. So just look for that opportunity. I'll never forget, I was in Corpus Christi one time. I think my dad was with me, and we're sitting down. We did a presentation, and the guy worked for one of those oil refineries, and he was the guy that climbed those big old stacks, those cement stacks. And I forgot how many feet he'd climb up there every day. And he was proud of it because he was, I think, in his late 50s, early 60s, and he was so healthy. The guys that worked there that were in their 30s couldn't do it as well as him. They'd be all out of breath, and he kind of bragged about it. So then, to me, that was an easy add-on accidental death. I offered it, man. He just laid down on that easy. So I mean, just look for the opportunity. Then when it comes to children's whole life, this is what I like about selling whole life products that have like a 10 pay or 20 pay. So if I'm not going to do a rider, right? a lot of times people, if there are, these are usually grandparents that are not only taking care of their kids, but raising their grandkids, right? They know that they're probably going to pass before that grandchild reaches a certain, age of responsibility financially, right? They might see them through high school, but they're probably not going to see them to age 30, is what I'm trying to say. They kind of get that. So I'll tell them, why don't we do this? Why don't we get a whole life that's paid off in 10 years or 20 years? And then that way you don't have to worry about it. And they love that idea. And so, and that typically the premium is usually $40 to $50 a month per person on that whole life 10 or 20 pay. And so, I usually go that route. Now, if I'm selling Mutual of Omaha, which doesn't have the the children's rider on the Living Promise, then I'll sell it separate with Mutual of Omaha. And in that case, you can go up to 50,000 in death benefit for the kids. And the best way to sell that is Joe has on the website, if you haven't seen it, a rate sheet for children's whole life, and it's a quick at a glance kind of a rate sheet. If your kids fall within this age, this is the rate, male and female. And so that's a really quick way of just showing it to them, the cost, how cheap it is, instead of having to run the quote on your phone. Usually they'll like that. At least it's a conversational piece, and you can find out if they're interested or not, and then you can move forward. And so that's my add-on sales. So Joe, I don't know if I missed anything, but I'm trying to leave you some time to talk a little bit there for the next segment.
No, dude, awesome, man, awesome. Um, Guys, it takes, there's a learning curve to doing add-ons. It takes a little bit of time, but as you are perfecting your in-home sales presentation, you learn how to incorporate these add-ons. I know, Jimmy's an expert. I'm an expert at it. It's because we have practiced our craft over many, many years. So guys, what we're going to be moving on is in the next, we've got about 10 minutes left. I'm just going to bring to you a brand new product that is a segue into exactly what Jimmy was talking about as far as add-ons. And that is one of our premier final expense companies, Foresters Financial, has just rolled out a brand new children's whole life. And that's going to be going into know your products. So I'm just going to take a few minutes just to kind of roll this out and just kind of give you some of the highlights of the program. And then what I would recommend is log on to the back end of the Foresters agent portal. There's some great training videos, and get a copy of the application. This is also going to be available in a paper app or an e-application, so you can do it both ways. There are some benefits to selling the Foresters program. I'm just going to highlight a few of them. One of them is that, as you guys, most of you know, that Foresters is a not-for-profit company. It's a fraternal organization. With getting insurance, you also become a member. So one of the cool things is that if you're selling the new Children's Whole Life by Foresters, is that the insured is going to be eligible for some of the tremendous benefits that come with being a Foresters member, and certainly would recommend to read up on those. Also, what does the Foresters, and it's called BrightFuture, offer to your clients? Well, first of all, it's a non-participating whole life, which helps keeps the cost down. So it's going to be very comparable to the Mutual of Omaha product and the Transamerica product, which is also a non-participating whole life. The people that can purchase this on the kids are either going to be the parents, the grandparents, or the legal guardians are able to purchase this product. So a sibling or an aunt or uncle are not able to purchase the vehicle on the child. It has to be one of those relations. It is a product that is good till age 121. but the premiums only go till age 100. So, and I'm going to cover that. There's actually, you can either set it up so the program is paid up at age 100, or there's also a 10 pay that is available as well. There's also the ability to purchase additional benefits. There are some specific ages or life events. I don't have them all listed, but just as an example, let's say you're getting, you get a kid covered for 50,000 at age 10. Let's say at age 30 they get married. Well, they're able to purchase an additional policy, and by getting this policy in place, it's protecting their insurability. And there's also 3 riders that are included at no additional charge as well, which I'll be covering here just in a second. What application should be using? Well, it has its own application. It is not a rider connected to a policy. The grandchildren that you get covered will actually receive their own policy. I've already talked about who's allowed to pay for the coverage. How many insureds are allowed on a single application? You can put up to 6 insured on a single application. If a situation where, let's say, they have 9 grandchildren, it's not a problem. You just have to do 2 applications. So you'd put 6 grandchildren on one application, then you'd write another application, and you put the 3 additional grandchildren on a separate application. That's to help simplify it. Just like with Mutual of Omaha, I think you can only fit about 8 or 9 on their application. But what's cool is with Mutual or the Foresters product is that each grandchild is going to receive a separate policy or separate certificate. So even though, let's say you're taking a paper application and you write everybody on one application, when those policies are delivered, when they're sent to the owner, which is going to be the grandparent or the parent, each child will have their own separate policy, which is really, really nice. It's not all combined. Just talked about how many beneficiaries can be listed on the application. The beneficiary normally will be the owner, unless you specify a separate beneficiary. So oftentimes the grandparent will be the owner of the policy, but let's say the grandparent doesn't necessarily want to be the beneficiary. They may say, well, I'm buying it, I'm going to be the owner of the policy, but I'd like for the child's parents to be the beneficiary. You can go ahead and do that. The next question here, or the next part I've already covered, how many certificates are issued if multiple insureds are on a listed application? Every individual child will receive their own certificate. And guys, I'm going through this pretty quick, but this is a pretty straightforward process. Does the product require a signed illustration? No, because it has guaranteed cash value and it's a non-participating, you don't have to get an illustration signed. How can the product be quoted? Guys, it's going to be uploaded right onto your the mobile app. So if you look at your mobile app from Foresters, you're going to see this product is going to be populated here within the next couple of days. You'll be able to quote it right from your phone. The other cool thing is when you're quoting, you can quote multiple age groups at the same time, which is going to be cool. So let's say the person you're sitting with has 5 grandchildren. Instead of having to go in and redo it 5 times, it's going to open up the screen where you're going to be able to put in all 5 or 6 grandchildren, list their ages, and it's going to give you the quote for each one. So this way you don't have to toggle back and forth, okay? Each grandchild will have access to member benefits, which is huge. The child/grandchild will be able to start accessing member benefits in the member portal at age 16.
Hey, Joe.
So again, yes.
Just a quick little tip there. Because it's for children, one of the member benefits is that they can get scholarships through Foresters for these kids.
Yes, you're right. Guys, if you're not familiar with Foresters, man, read up on their member benefits. It really is. It's a great company, man. If you're not familiar with them, they've got great products, and this is just a great addition to what they have that that, and it's nice that they've incorporated the Forester member benefits with this product to the grandchildren. But that competitive scholarship is a definitely a great program. Let's see how we're doing on time. All right, we got about 3 minutes, which is perfect. Okay, I'm just going to go over a few product details, and we'll go ahead and wrap our call up. Okay, the BrightFuture details. As far as as far as getting insured, there's only a couple of health questions. If they answer yes to any of the health questions, they're not going to be eligible. The underwriting process does not require an MIB or prescription history or any type of medical exam. So it's kind of on the honor system. So as long as you're answering no to all the health questions, the policy is going to be issued. Rate class obviously is juvenile, and it's also a blended rate, except in the state of Florida. Florida is the only state where you're going to have male-female rates. Every other state, it's going to be a blended rate, so it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl, it's going to be the same rate, which I think is good. It keeps it easy. Age limits, the child has to be at least 15 days old, maximum of 17, which means as long as they haven't obtained the age of 18, so they could be 17 years old and 364 days, you can get them covered. Once they reach the age 18, they are not eligible, and there is no backdating allowed to save age on this program. The minimum death benefit is $5,000. The maximum benefit is $75,000, which is awesome. Most of you guys know with Mutual of Omaha, the maximum is $50,000 on that. But of course, they can add more later. Same thing here. They can get $75,000, but they're eligible to add more coverage later at specific ages or life events like getting married or having a child or buying a house. Okay, death benefit amount. Okay, death benefit amount minus any debt. That's if they took out a loan against it. Amounts any accelerated under the program. That's just telling you the death benefit is what it is unless they've exercised like accelerated death benefit, period. Period coverage, the certificate is endowed at age 121. Cash value is guaranteed, varies based on factors, including the plan type and aggregate rates. All right, moving on. Eligible premium payment plans. Guys, you can either do a 10-pay or you can do the traditional whole life, which is age 100. I'm like Jimmy, I'm a big fan of the 10-pay because if you've got a client that's in their late 60s or 70s and they're getting their grandchildren covered, most of them would like to see this policy paid up and paid off before they pass away. In other words, a lot of times they don't trust the child or even the child's parents to keep up with the payments. So typically when I'm doing these programs, I like to go with the 10-pay versus the paid up at age 100. Now, this is something I've been bugging Mutual of Omaha for probably about 10 years, that you need a 10-pay, you need a 10-pay, you need a 10-pay. Well, they still haven't done it. So now we got Foresters. Forester has a 10-pay. Also, another great company that we use is Transamerica. Believe it, they actually have a 10-pay as well. Not to get off on a rabbit hole, but the Transamerica final expense product goes down to age 0 to age 85. Okay, so the same product that you sell your seniors, you can also sell to the underage clients like the grandchildren. And the 10-pay is a great way to do that. The other thing, real quick side note, sometimes you will be doing a policy, you'll be doing the grandchildren, and they want to get all the grandchildren covered, but with like this program or the Mutual of Omaha, they have to be under the age of 18. That's where someone like Transamerica would come in handy, because they could be 18, 19, or 20, and you're still able to get them get them coverage.
Hey,
All
Joe,
right.
and I
Yes.
don't want to forget Liberty Bankers on that, because
Oh yeah,
just
talk to them about that real quick.
same thing as Joe just mentioned with Transamerica. I mean, they can go into 18, 19, 20, and you can still do it, and you can still do the 10 pay and the 20 pay. So
Yes.
maybe they want a higher face amount. 10 pay puts the premium out of budget. You can go to 20 pay.
Yeah,
And
with Liberty
still
Bankers.
do
Are
it.
you talking about the Flex for Life product?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, guys, that's a different show, but that's a great product, man. We've got a lot of great products. I'm going to skip this slide. Just talks about the modal premium and the certificate factors or certificate fees. Not a big deal. Changes allowed. This talks about the changes allowed on in-force coverages, what is allowed, what is not. Changes to the payment frequency, face amount decreases. You can decrease the face amount. You're not allowed to increase it unless the child has hit one of those specific ages or a life-changing event, like if they get married, have a kid, that sort of thing. It says disallow changes, face amount increases. That's true, but there's also those eligible times where they can increase it because you have the insurability rider attached to it. Let's see, rider additions or increases after issue, rate class changes are not available, obviously, because they're getting the juvenile rate anyway. Value-added riders. These are the riders that are added for free. Accelerated death benefit rider for terminal illness, family health benefit rider, common carrier, accidental death rider, guaranteed insurability rider. These are all come at no extra cost. And as far as quoting it, guys, this is what the mobile app looks like from Foresters. You're going to see on here, it's going to say with that purple arrow, you're going to see it says BrightFuture. Just click on BrightFuture. It's going to be very easy. You'll load up the information. You put in all you have to do is put in the age. You don't have to put in the name. Put in whether it's male or female, the amount that you want to do, and then you go to quote, and it's going to give you the quote. So as you can see here at this screenshot, it shows I'm doing two different quotes. And this is pretty cool because it gives you not only the paid till 100, but it gives you the 10 pay right there. So if you look at the first one where it says value client, age 5, male, we're going to quote $25,000 of coverage, $25,000 for the 10 pay. If they want to do the paid up until age 100, it's $11.53, which is a very good rate for 25,000. Or if the client would prefer to have it paid up in 10 years, it's only $27, which is a tremendous value. So you can see here, if you can just do the math very easily, you can simply do the math by saying, like, hey, Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, if you do the 10 pay, I know it's a little bit more expensive, but just think of how much money in the long run you're going to save. It's only $27 a month. That's $314 a year. So in 10 years, you've only invested a little bit over $3,000 of annual premium, but the coverage is $25,000 of coverage, and you'll never have to make another premium the rest of your life. Oh yeah, I want to do that. Clients will go for the 10 pay if you show them the 10 pay. And with that, guys, that wraps up our call for today. Thanks for joining us for the 4th of July segment. And Mike and Jimmy, is there anything that you guys like to end with before we let everybody go and enjoy their holiday weekend?
Well, happy 4th of July.
Same here.
Amen. All right, guys, we love you. Have a safe holiday weekend. If you need anything, my phone is on. You can shoot me a text, give me a call. I'm here to help. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.